In the dim glow of a desk lamp, a single paperclip lies beside forgotten letters. A curve of metal, ordinary, harmless, yet destined to carry the weight of defiance. It will never roar like a cannon or march like an army, but in its quiet shape, history found a symbol of unity and resistance. The story begins softly, with the rhythm of typewriter keys and the anxious hum of radios whispering uncertain news. Outside, the world trembles on the edge of war. Inside, a desk lamp burns through the night, steady, stubborn, unbroken. Across Norway, people keep working. Hands sort papers, sign letters, bind them together with this small loop of wire. No one knows yet that this gesture, so ordinary, will become an act of defiance. Because sometimes the greatest symbols are not carved in stone or cast in bronze. Sometimes they are held together by a single piece of bent steel, waiting for the moment when courage needs a shape. Long before the paperclip became a symbol, one man dreamed it into shape. In a quiet workshop in Norway, Johan Valler bends a thin piece of wire beneath a single lamp. No fanfare, no applause, only the small rasp of metal and the hum of thought. He twists the wire once, then again, until it forms an endless loop, simple, perfect, unbroken. To him, it is elegance made visible, an idea that holds things together. He files his patent, proud yet modest, certain the world will understand. But history moves quickly, and recognition rarely waits. Across the sea, a British company produces a nearly identical design. They call it the Gem Clip, and soon the name Valler fades from memory. The world keeps clipping its papers, unaware of the man who shaped their corners. His invention sleeps in dusty archives, waiting, silent, patient, until the day a nation gives it new meaning. 1940. The streets of Oslo tremble under the weight of marching boots. Flags that do not belong to this land flutter in the cold morning air. Windows close, voices fade, a quiet nation holds its breath. Silence replaces songs, fear replaces freedom, and yet, even under the shadow of occupation, something stirs. A small, ordinary object begins to carry a meaning the enemy could never see. It starts with students at the University of Oslo. A subtle gesture, a hidden spark. They fasten a single paperclip to their lapels. No banners, no slogans, just a loop of steel, defiant in its simplicity. Teachers notice, workers follow. Soon, on buses, in classrooms, on crowded streets, the quiet shimmer of paperclips catches the morning light. Each one says without words, "We are still here." But symbols have power, and power invites danger. The Gestapo takes notice. They call it treason. Posters appear, warning that wearing a paperclip will be punished. Yet the people of Norway refuse to remove them. Because courage doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's the sound of footsteps echoing down a cobblestone street, while a single, silent emblem gleams against a worn gray coat. Night settles over Oslo like a held breath. Windows glow faintly behind drawn curtains. Inside, small groups gather around tables lit by a single candle. They speak softly, careful not to let their courage echo too loudly. Paperclips pass from one hand to another, small, shining tokens of rebellion. Each one a promise whispered in metal. We will not bend. In classrooms, teachers tuck them into notebooks. In factories, workers pin them to their coats. Mothers hide them in pockets before their sons leave for work. The gesture spreads quietly, like light beneath a closed door. The Gestapo watches, uneasy. They cannot understand why a simple clip unnerves them so deeply. because power fears what it cannot name, and unity cannot be outlawed. Raids come at night, doors splinter, footsteps echo through stairwells. Some are taken away, others vanish without a sound. But even as fear tightens its grip, the people find new ways to speak. A single clip left on a desk, a handful scattered on a windowsill, tiny acts of defiance hidden in plain sight. Hope becomes a secret language. No anthems, no armies, only the soft click of metal and the beating of human hearts. In the darkness, they hold fast to that sound, the sound of a nation refusing to disappear. Then, at last, dawn. The gray sky over Oslo softens to gold. For the first time in 5 years, the air carries the sound of freedom. Boots that once marched in conquest now retreat along broken streets. Windows open, voices rise, and a city long silenced begins to sing again. Crowds pour into the squares, waving flags pulled from their hiding places. Laughter mixes with tears. Men embrace strangers. Women lift children onto their shoulders to see the sunlight. On jackets and coats, paperclips gleam like tiny medals of defiance. Freedom has returned, but the symbol remains, because the paperclip had come to mean more than resistance. It meant unity and the belief that even in darkness, connection endures. In homes and classrooms, the stories spread. Parents tell their children of Johann Wahler, the quiet inventor whose simple idea bound a nation together. Years pass, wars fade into textbooks, but in museums and memory boxes, the paperclip still shines. A loop of wire that once whispered, "We are still here," now speaks a quieter truth, that unity is stronger than fear. And as morning light floods the city once more, a single paperclip rests on a windowsill, catching the sun. A small reminder of how courage is sometimes held together by the simplest things. Today, a paperclip sits quietly on almost every desk in the world. A simple tool, unnoticed, waiting to hold something together. Most people never think about where it came from, or what it once meant. But within that small curve of steel lies a legacy far greater than its shape. Because unity doesn't always march down streets or shout in speeches. Sometimes it hides in the ordinary things we touch every day. The paperclip reminds us that strength can be silent. That courage can live in small acts repeated quietly by people who refuse to be bent out of shape. And maybe that's what history really teaches us, that even the smallest connection can hold the world together when everything else is falling apart. So the next time you pick up a paperclip, remember, it once held more than paper. It held a nation's hope, legacy of artifacts, because even the smallest things can change history.